One question here says, as a historian, do you find that many of your non-Muslim colleagues argue and disagree with Muslim contributions? Yes, actually, this would be considered revisionist, a type of revisionist history. That some of this history is like a no-no in certain circles. But when I put out my first issue of Deeper Roots, this book I have here, the Geography Department of McGill University in Canada, they challenged me. And they brought me there and fed me lunch and everything and set me up and said, okay, now give it to us. So I spoke to them for about an hour straight, right, going through all these contributions and all this stuff. When I was done, there was silence for about 5 minutes. Nobody said anything. And the leader, the head of the department said, you have challenged everything that we stand on. Like everybody was silent. Then they started to come at me. Now, they're geographers. I'm not a geographer, right? They admitted that it was possible to cross the Atlantic. They freely admit that. Because Thor Heyerdahl, the Scandinavian scientist, took a number of journeys. He used papyrus materials, and he went from Morocco, and he went across using the currents, and he went right into Brazil and the Caribbean. So they admit that it's possible. What they were arguing with me, they said, how'd they get back? And they wanted me to prove, like, geographically how. I'm not a geographer, man. So that's the only point that they could get me on, which current it was they came to go back and all that. But they admitted freely that it was possible for people to cross. We know even the Celtics, like Viking people from the north, the Phoenicians, many people crossed the Atlantic, man. They got us stuck in this Columbus syndrome. But Chris was late. He was very late, man. Like many people were going across the Atlantic and the Pacific. The Polynesian people, Chinese people, they made contact with the Americas on the Pacific side. And if you go into the culture of the people, you will see Polynesian blood, Polynesian traces, if you go on the Pacific side. So it's just a matter of going to the documentation and looking at it from another people's point of view. That's all it is.